Tuesday's primaries are showing a huge surge in support for President Trump as Democrat divisions threaten their majority in the House. In this video, we're going to take a look at the results from yesterday's primaries and why they signal a major win for Trump and a colossal defeat for the Democrats come November. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone, patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. I look forward to this time with you each and every day. If this is your first time here with us at this channel, a very, very warm welcome to you. I post 2 videos a day, analyzing current events and some super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. So if you know what to do. If you haven't already done so, make sure to smack that subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel. We're together each and every day. We get to celebrate the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. Now, before we dive in here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's Collagen, available at my special website, healthwithsteveturley.com. Now, if you don't know, collagen may be the closest thing we'll ever get to a real fountain of youth. Many health experts now agree that consuming collagen is crucial as it gets to renew and revitalize how you look and feel. Taking collagen regularly can revitalize your body, can make your skin, bones, even your hair look and feel more healthy and youthful. And if you're interested in learning more about collagen, getting your own supply, I put it in my coffee every day, then visit healthwithsteveturley.com or just click on the link below and check it out. In fact, if you click on that link today, you can get up to 51% off your order. So don't wait. Click on that link below and get your own collagen supply today. You'll be glad that you did. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. Amazing stuff going on. Yesterday on Tuesday, there were a number of primaries held throughout the country. And the important role of primaries in an election season is that they indicate where the election is in terms of who's coming out to vote. Now remember, this is a key difference in determining what's really going on in an election cycle. We have to differentiate between opinion polls and actual elections, right? There's a radical difference between the two. While opinion polls are helpful in gauging trends and the mood of a nation and the like, they are also notoriously unreliable just in and of themselves. So Politico actually did a story on this. Pollsters, and again, I'm talking about opinion pollsters, they've had a very difficult time figuring out how to include a representative sample of white male voters without college degrees. So these tend to be rural voters, and they have yet to figure out how to factor them into their poll samples in a way that accurately reflects their numbers and how they actually vote. And this was an utterly fatal flaw in the opinion polling 2016. I mean, this is a flaw across the board of the polls. While men without college degrees tend to be radically undersampled and underrepresented in these polls, and that underrepresentation, it turned out to be dire for opinion pollsters in terms of their forecasting for the 2016 election. But by contrast, primaries are actual elections. There's no debate about the primaries. All the opinion polls prior to the election, they just turn to ash. They mean absolutely nothing. Just ask Mitt Romney, who was supposed to win the 2012 election against Obama. He was up a few points in most of the polls right before the election. But again, they were opinion polls. The real polls that we want to keep our eyes on are actual elections. And that's what primaries provide. Primaries are the general election in microcosm. They indicate who's actually coming out and voting and for whom are they voting. And this is what the Stony Brook University professor Helmut Norpolt draws from in his election forecast model known as the primary model. We've featured on this video many times. The primary model is the single most accurate forecasting model on record. He's predicted rightly 22 of the last 24 presidential elections, which goes all the way back to 1912, which was the first time when the candidates had to win a number of primaries. And again, in virtually every single case, the popular vote winner in the primaries always goes on to win the general election. That's one of the keys to projecting the winner of any election. The popular vote winner in the primaries always goes on to win in the general election. The primaries are the general election in microcosm. And in case you don't know, Norpolt has given President Trump a 91% chance at re-election in November. And as of yesterday's primary, it looks like we can see why. As Democrat pollster Doug Schoen observed, Trump was the huge winner in yesterday's primaries. Several Trump-backed candidates defeated their opponents in a clear sign of Trump's level of support among Republicans, which has never been higher. And no one exemplified that more than the former Auburn University football coach, Tommy Tuberville, who crushed former Attorney General Jeff Sessions with nearly 61% of the vote. It was an absolute thumping, no question about that. And Tuberville recognized that his win was as much about Trump as it was about him, Tuberville. And he recognized that Trump's surge in support among Republicans of late benefited him exponentially in terms of defeating Jeff Sessions, who's without a doubt one of the most successful conservative politicians in Alabama. But Sessions really did blow it. I mean, politically, he just blew it when he recused himself as Attorney General from the whole Russian collusion hoax. And I think Trump rightly saw that as a betrayal. And it just ended up wasting 3 years and tens of millions of dollars of taxpayer funds. And Sessions could have either just put an absolute end to it right away or at least revealed on an ongoing basis its absurdity. But instead, he stepped back and basically handed the whole thing to the Assistant Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, who we now know actively participated in a coup against our president. So there's no question that Sessions blew it, and he turned the whole supposed investigation over to the very deep state that was trying to sabotage Trump's election in 2016 and was actively trying to unseat Trump since his inauguration. So I think Sessions deserved to lose. Tuberville just utterly, crushed him. And he owes much of that momentum to Trump's surge of support. And Trump is surging. There is no question about that. Tuesday's primary results were corroborated by a number of opinion polls that have come out showing that if the election were actually held today, Trump would win. And he would win rather easily. Pundits have been pointing to a series of polls that were conducted by the Democracy Institute. It's a think tank in Washington, D.C., and according to their findings, it was really fascinating. Trump and Biden are now officially tied at 47% each. And just in case you think that's wishful thinking or, an anomaly, this tie has been corroborated by a recent Zogby poll that shows the Biden lead has completely collapsed. Both Biden and Trump are now tied at 46% each. But while the two were tied in their national polling, Trump has opened up a 4-point lead in the crucial swing states of Florida, Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and believe it or not, even Minnesota. Okay, so on average, Trump leads 48% to Biden's 44% in these crucial swing states. Now, at this point, according to the poll, Trump has wrapped up 309 electoral votes compared to Biden's 229. And the primaries yesterday demonstrate precisely this kind of political strength that Trump does indeed have, that we're finding that the majority of opinion polls thus far, they've not been able to detect, perhaps purposely so, given the pernicious left-wing partisanship of our mainstream Marxist media. They purposely ignore the enthusiasm. Now, on the other side, on the Democrat side, we are indeed seeing a political party in disarray. And again, you'll never hear this from the left-wing activists disguised as journalists over at CNN and MSNBC and the New York Times and like. But the Democrat pollster Doug Schoen recognizes that the primaries revealed that the Democrats are deeply divided, which is making any chance of them winning the White House ever more remote. What's going on is that the Democrats are actually having trouble mobilizing their base. Again, this is something that opinion polls simply can't capture in their results. What we are seeing is that the Democrats are actually suffering from a massive, horrific enthusiasm gap. Trump has an astonishing 19-point advantage in voter enthusiasm over Biden. He crushes Biden 64% to 45%. In fact, it actually even gets worse. According to Scott Rasmussen's polling, things are so bad for Biden, things are so bad for this presumptive Democrat nominee that 1 in 3 Democrats wants Biden replaced with a new candidate. And what we saw in the primaries is not just a party that's having a hard time mobilizing their base, getting them out to vote, but when they do show up to vote, the results indicate a party deeply divided. In several U.S. House and Senate Democratic primaries held just the past month in June, progressive challengers either defeated or came close to nearly defeating their well-funded establishment opponents. And yesterday was no different. And what we're finding is that this far-left insurgency is having the effect of causing the Democrat Party to embrace far-left policies like defunding the police, which are extremely unpopular with the general electorate. Joe Biden is already doing this, right? Biden is actually saying that police have quote, become the enemy, which of course the Trump campaign is having a delightful time exploiting. The media is doing everything they can to gaslight that. Show notes that this lurch to the left by the Democrats will almost certainly cost them the presidency, the Senate, and perhaps even their current House majority. Would that not be wonderful? Pundits have already been saying that the House is indeed up for grabs, and a further lurch to the left by the Democrats may be all that's needed for the GOP to finally retake control. So all in all, yesterday's primaries were excellent indicators showing us the current state of the presidential election in a way that's totally unambiguous. President Trump is surging in support, while the Democrats are suffering the consequences of their own internal divisions. November is indeed shaping up to be a major win for Trump and a colossal defeat for the Democrats. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my video I just uploaded on Goya food sales skyrocketing in a massive backlash against far-left boycott efforts of Goya's pro-Trump CEO. It's going to absolutely make your day. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.